Cierra Ortega's exit wasn't just a Love Island twist. It turned into one of the show's most polarizing scandals yet. What started as a vague, personal situation exploded into a public uproar, dragging social media, race, and reality TV accountability into one firestorm. In just 48 hours, the internet wasn't just asking what happened. They were demanding who should pay. So what really happened behind the scenes? Why did BelleA Walker suddenly speak out? And what was in the resurfaced posts that made even producers cut ties? We're diving into the real reason Cierra left the villa, the chaos her parents are now facing, and why BelleA's message might be the most important one this franchise has seen in years. Here's what I want to know from you. When a scandal like this breaks, do you believe people deserve time to grow, or should consequences be immediate and public? Drop your take in the comments and let's talk about what real accountability looks like in 2025. How do you go from island romance to national controversy in 24 hours? It all began when Love Island USA narrator Ian Sterling casually announced Cierra Ortega's sudden exit during the July 6th episode. No elimination, no farewell speech, just a brief mention of a personal situation. But fans weren't buying it. The same day, screenshots began circulating online, allegedly showing Cierra using a racial slur toward Asians in old social media posts. Suddenly, what sounded like a mysterious exit became a cultural flashpoint, and the pressure was on for everyone, producers, islanders, and especially BelleA Walker to respond. One post flipped the whole season. The screenshots weren't subtle, and they weren't isolated. Multiple users began sharing images of Cierra allegedly using a racist slur across now deleted tweets and captions. Even though E! News stated they hadn't authenticated the posts, the internet didn't wait. Within hours, Cierra's name was trending, with users calling out Love Island USA for not screening contestants thoroughly. Others demanded a statement from the network, claiming silence would equal complicity. Meanwhile, BelleA, the franchise's first Asian American islander this season, was flooded with messages asking her to weigh in. The pressure wasn't fair, but it was unavoidable. The silence made everything louder. On July 6th, just hours after Cierra's exit, BelleA finally broke her silence. In a multi-part Instagram story, she opened up as both an islander and a proud Asian American woman. "I was incredibly heartbroken," she wrote, "but I wanted to wait until she left the villa to genuinely apologize and commit to learning from the experience." But her stance quickly shifted. BelleA revealed she unfollowed Cierra days earlier after seeing more screenshots surface, saying, "Asian hate is oftentimes overlooked and dismissed." Her message wasn't angry, it was thoughtful, it was personal, and it resonated with thousands. She didn't just speak, she represented. BelleA didn't just speak for herself, she spoke for an entire community often ignored in mainstream reality TV. "Being a first-generation American," she wrote, "I've personally witnessed how real and hurtful comments like these are." For many viewers, especially Asian Americans, her words were a rare moment of reflection from a franchise that too often shies away from real-world issues. She talked about her mother's immigration journey, about the sacrifices made for future generations, and why using her platform now mattered more than staying silent. This wasn't performative outrage, it was a powerful call to awareness. She turned pain into purpose. Public outrage didn't stop at holding Cierra accountable. It quickly spiraled into something darker. As Cierra's name trended, so did the hate. People flooded her old posts with violent threats. Supporters who tried to defend her were doxxed. Even her family became targets. Within hours, what started as justice had mutated into digital bloodsport. And this is where things get complicated. While BelleA made it clear that racism must be addressed, she also urged fans not to spread hate. "Please think twice before leaving unkind comments," she wrote. But by then, the fire had already spread, and no one was safe. Justice turned into a witch hunt. If viewers were expecting an apology from Cierra, they didn't get one. Instead, a statement came from her parents, posted to Cierra's Instagram story. "We're not here to justify what surfaced," they said, "but what's happening online has gone far beyond accountability." The statement expressed remorse, but it also framed the backlash as excessive and harmful. And while it struck some as tone deaf, others saw it as a raw plea from a family under siege. As of now, Cierra hasn't returned home from Fiji or commented herself, but the damage is done. Now people are asking, will she speak at all? Her silence is starting to speak volumes. When Cierra's parents stepped in, they didn't sugarcoat things. "We understand why people are upset," they said, "but the threats, the cruel messages, the attacks on her family, it's heartbreaking." And whether you believe their statement hit the right tone or not, one thing is undeniable. Cierra's family, friends, and even distant acquaintances were suddenly being dragged into a firestorm they didn't start. The line between holding someone accountable and punishing everyone around them blurred fast, even in moments of justified anger. This kind of ripple effect shows how quickly internet justice can spiral into collateral damage. Not everyone being punished was guilty. BelleA's message wasn't just a condemnation, it was also a boundary. "I do not condone bigotry or racism," she said, "but I also don't condone hate either." That distinction mattered. She made it clear that while she no longer supported Cierra, she wasn't here to encourage a pile-on. Her tone was calm, personal, and heartbreaking, more like a friend processing betrayal than a public figure chasing clout. That's what resonated. She wasn't performative, she was vulnerable. And in a space where outrage often wins, BelleA's maturity offered something rarer: balance. She led with clarity, not chaos. In the past, Love Island USA has stayed silent during messy exits. Not this time. Though they haven't released a full statement, the show's decision to let Cierra go before addressing the scandal was a calculated move. By calling it a personal situation, producers tried to de-escalate things quietly, but the receipts made that impossible. Behind the scenes, sources claim execs moved fast once the screenshots gained traction. For a show often criticized for ignoring racial issues, this shift in response was significant. But was it accountability or brand protection? That's what viewers are still debating. Damage control or genuine progress? If you're still watching and deep in the drama, take a second to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. This way, you'll never miss when we drop the next breakdown on reality TV scandals, celebrity chaos, or the stories everyone's secretly talking about. Inside the villa, Cierra's exit left more than just an empty bed. According to fans analyzing live feeds and episode edits, tension among the remaining islanders noticeably shifted. Some castmates reportedly distanced themselves, others were seen having hushed conversations that never made it to air. The vibe had changed and viewers noticed. The show tried to keep the mood light, but you could sense it. Something unspoken was hanging in the air. For a series built on flirting and fun, this kind of discomfort doesn't just disappear. And with BelleA's statement out in the world, everyone knew the real reason. Love Island fandoms are passionate, but when scandal hits, that passion turns fast. Twitter threads turned into war zones. TikTok videos broke down every word of BelleA's post, while Reddit posts speculated on what producers knew and when. But the darkest corners of the internet weren't analyzing, they were attacking. Fans split into factions, those defending BelleA, those demanding Cierra speak, and those insisting the entire show was hypocritical. Suddenly, this wasn't just a Love Island story. It was a reflection of how online communities can amplify justice or mutate it into obsession. This wasn't accountability, it was chaos dressed up as care. This isn't the first time a reality show has been rocked by racism allegations, and it won't be the last. From The Bachelor to Big Brother, contestants' pasts have come back to haunt them, often mid-season. But the response from producers is where things evolve, or don't. In earlier seasons, these controversies were brushed under the rug or edited out entirely. That's no longer an option. With real-time social media pressure, networks are being forced to act. The question is whether they're reacting to protect contestants or their own reputations, because damage control can look a lot like doing the right thing until you look closer. It's easy to forget that behind the trending hashtags and viral outrage is a 22-year-old woman whose life just changed forever. Cierra Ortega made a mistake, a serious one, but the internet rarely leaves room for redemption arcs. She hasn't spoken yet, but that silence is already being filled with assumptions, anger, and projections. For some, she's a villain, for others, a scapegoat. But either way, she's now more headline than human. And while accountability matters, there's a difference between holding someone responsible and completely erasing their humanity. The internet rarely pauses to see that difference, especially when it's trending. In the middle of this media storm, BelleA emerged as more than a reality contestant. She became a voice. Her response wasn't a PR move. It felt honest, rooted in Lena's lived experience. She didn't throw gasoline on the fire, but she also didn't back down. And that balance, it struck a chord with thousands of viewers, many of whom messaged her directly to say thank you. In a genre often criticized for superficiality, BelleA's words carried weight. She reminded the audience that vulnerability can be powerful, that anger can be channeled into purpose, and that silence isn't always strength. So what happens next for Cierra Ortega? That depends on one thing: what she says when she finally speaks. If she issues a public apology, shows real accountability, and takes steps to educate herself, there's a chance she can rebuild. But if she stays silent or posts something defensive, the damage may deepen. Right now, she's still in Fiji. Her parents said she'll face this with grace and growth, but that's yet to be seen. One thing is certain, the internet doesn't wait. Redemption in 2025 isn't handed out. It's earned, word by word, and misstep by misstep. This story isn't just about two Love Island contestants. It's about how we, as viewers, react when someone messes up publicly. Do we pile on? Do we educate? Or do we scroll past until it's someone else's turn? Moments like these test whether we're just here for drama or if we actually care about change. BelleA reminded us that it's possible to be hurt and still be human, that we can call out racism without becoming hateful ourselves. And maybe that's the hardest lesson of all, learning to hold people accountable without losing our own compassion in the process. Season 7 of Love Island USA will be remembered for more than hookups and recouplings. It'll be remembered for this moment, when the illusion cracked and something real bled through. Producers were forced to address racism. Contestants had to navigate moral choices in front of millions, and viewers were asked to confront their own values. This wasn't part of the script, but it became the story. Whether the franchise learns from it or brushes it off like past seasons, that's still up in the air. But one thing's clear, reality TV just got a little too real. And that's not a bad thing. You don't need millions of followers to speak up. Whether you're posting on your feed, having a conversation in your group chat, or even just rethinking your own biases, that matters. BelleA used her platform. Cierra will eventually have to reckon with hers. You have more influence than you think. The next time a scandal like this breaks, don't just ask, what did they do wrong? Ask yourself what you can do right. Every viewer shapes the culture. Every comment adds weight, and every voice, yours included, helps decide what kind of future we build from here. One exit, one voice, and a reality check that hit harder than any recoupling that ever could. What BelleA said, and didn't say, might just shift the way reality TV handles controversy from now on. And if Cierra ever speaks up, that next chapter will matter too. Till then, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you're first to know when we unpack the next viral moment that's got everyone talking. This video is for commentary and discussion purposes only. All information is based on publicly available sources and opinions. It is not professional advice. Please consult a qualified expert as needed.